Hello everyone, this is Naman Goyal. I am from IIT Guwahati, pursuing mathematics and computing. Today I am going to talk about virtual memory concept in Linux. So firstly let's talk about something about Linux. So Linux is generally it's an open source Unix like operating system which is based on Linux kernel. So it was first released in September 17 by Linus Torvalds. It is one of the best known and the most used open source operating system at the time. So the Linux is a software that sits underneath all of the other software on a computer, receiving requests from those programs and replying to those requests. So the OS includes some core components like GNU tools, like we have a genome terminal in Linux, in Ubuntu especially. So the tools give a user to manage the resources provided by the kernel, like installing software from Ubuntu repository, configure performance and securities. Because Linux is an open source, it is uh, very important for developers who like optimization and customization of their OS. So let's talk about the memory management phase. So we can organize the memory in two addresses, that is physical and virtual addresses space, which will be discussed in the next slide using paging or segmentation. So in case of Linux, which uses paging for both 4 KB as well as 8 KB page size. So virtualization can be achieved in Linux using MMU, which is either hardware or software. So a memory management unit MMU, sometimes called page memory management, is a computer hardware unit having all memory references passed through itself. So it's perform mainly the translation of virtual memory address to physical address. So we have two different kinds of address spaces. They're like physical address and virtual address. So the physical address is actually used by the hardware, that is the peripherals and DMA, and the virtual address is accessed by the software or virtual store viewed by the process. So for example, low store instruction RISC, instruction accessing RAM, that is CISC. So let's talk about memory management unit. It's the hardware responsible for implementing virtual memory. It sits between CPU core and a memory. So it transparently handles all the memory accesses like memory access to system RAM, like memory access to memory mapped peripheral hardwares, accessing handles, handling some permissions, and also releasing the page fault on an invalid access. So let's talk about the address translation between the virtual and the physical address. So let's say we have a virtual address which is of 32 bits. So let's say the first 20 bits are given to MMU and the rest 12 bits are used for the offset. So the runtime mapping between virtual address and the physical address is done by this MMU. So the first 20 bits are gone to MMU, which looks up in the page table and find the corresponding physical address for that and returns by the first 20 bits of the physical address. And the 12 bits, that is which is the offset, is used with the that 20 bits of the physical address obtained from MMU, which in turn will give us the physical address of the system of the process. What is a virtual memory? So virtual memory is like uh it's given illusion to a user that it can have more space than the RAM, because like we have certain processes which have a large memory, large data. So it's a memory management technique. It's a address mapping which maps this physical address and the virtual address, and we have talked about that previously, that the amount of physical is stored on the system. This extra memory is called virtual memory. So there are two types of address spaces that we have already talked about. It maps virtual to the physical address. This process can have a different memory mapping. Let's talk about the importance of this virtual memory. So the main purpose of the virtual memory is to extend the use of physical memory by using disk to have memory protection, because each virtual address is translated to a physical address. When a computer runs out of physical memory, it writes what it needs to remember the hard disk, and a swap file is virtual memory. So let's talk about pages, which is one of the most important concept in virtual memory. Every physical page frame in the system has an associated struct page that is used to keep track of the status. So pages contain the information about the process. It resides in the page table. A page, a memory page, or a virtual page is a fixed length continuous block and described by a single entry in a page table. It is the smallest unit of data for memory management in a virtual operating system. Similarly, a page frame is the smallest figure length continuous block of physical memory into the memory pages are mapped by the operating system. So let's talk about page table in which pages are residing. So it's a certain kind of data structure that maps the page number referenced by the CPU to the frame number where it is stored. The logical address generated by the CPU is translated to the physical address using the page table. So let's say this is CPU. CPU generates a logical address. CPU generates a logical address, and using page table we can convert this logical address. We can find the corresponding frame in our RAM, that is a physical memory, and where the actual page is kept. So the page table itself is kept in the RAM itself. So the number of entries is number of pages in the process. There is a register known as page table base register that contains the base address, and very importantly each process has its own independent page table. So this is a page table where there is a logical address coming, and we can get the particular frame format and we can access in the RAM. So there is an important thing, that is translation look aside buffer. So TLB is a mapping from virtual to physical address. It is a kind of cache concept which is kept in here the CPU and it holds certain frame pages. So if a CPU wants a particular frame, it can go to the TLB and find the frame. If it is there, so it can get from that, and it will take a very much less time. Otherwise, if there is a TLB miss, or we can say there is no, there exists no, not that frame in the TLB, so it has to go to the page table again, and from page table again it has to access the memory. So TLB size is very limited, and it has to direct access in case of a TLB miss. So in total there is a TLB over here near the CPU, in which the frames are present and which is connected to MMU. If there is a TLB hit, the CPU can take this page from here. Otherwise, it has to go to the page table, and from page table it has to go to the RAM. So let's talk about page fault. A page fault occurs when a program attempts to access data or the code in its address space but is not currently located in the physical RAM. It's a CPU exception, and the possible cases of a page fault occurs when there is not map for the process requesting and the virtual address does not exist. The process has insufficient permissions for the address. The virtual address is valid, but it's swapped out. Like it was present before, but due to some swapping mechanism, it is swapped out. So how a page fault is handled? So if there is a reference which was invalid, the process is terminated. Otherwise, the page has to be. If there is a certain error, the process is terminated. Otherwise, the page has to be paged in. So a free frame is created in the RAM, and from the disk, the necessary page has to be brought to my RAM, and when this input output operation is completed, the process stage table is updated with the since there is a process in the RAM, so we have to update the page table corresponding to that page. So the page table is updated with it here with the new frame number and the page reference. So the instruction now can be started where it was left. So let's talk about swapping. So swapping is generally the optimization between the secondary and the storage memory usage. When the primary memory is running out of space, some pages are swapped out, and where the requirement of the pages from the secondary memory, the pages are being swapped in. So the Linux maintains the page itself in the primary memory, but which gives the information about the frame numbers of physical address corresponding to the virtual address. So there is a space or a partition reserved in the secondary memory known as a swap or a raw partition. So for example, when you install a software, you have generally a boot space, you have a home space, you have a root space, you have a swap space. So the swap is there. So one of the disadvantages of swapping algorithm is that if it is not good, the composite method, this method can increase the number of page fault and increase in time, which can decrease the performance. So let's talk about demand paging now. So demand paging is quite similar to paging system with swapping. So the process resides in the secondary memory. The pages are looked only on demand. Like all the pages are, all the processes are not brought. Only certain pages which are currently required are brought in my RAM. So there is a context which is operating between the user and the OS. So so while executing the program, if the program references the pages which is not available in the main memory because it was swapped a little over, the process treated invalid memories as a page fault. This is one of the condition of the page fault, and transfer control from the program to the operating system to demand back page in the memory. So instead, it just begins executing the new program after loading the first one. The fetches as the program pages are being referred. So let's talk about the page replacement algorithms. So replacement algorithms are techniques which are used by the operating system. So in which memory pages to swap out and swap in. So we have four algorithms I have listed here. The first in, first out, that is FIFO. That is the most common and the oldest one, because currently the last one has to be got out, which is the first in has to go first out. So next is optimal page algorithm. So replace the page that will be not be used for a longer period of time. So it is the most optimal one because it gives the maximum usage and the least page fault, because the most common page is in the RAM itself. And then there's a algorithm known as least recently used, which the process which not has been used for the longest time, that the process which have been accessed very late, or which is the very before, so it has to be removed. And the most frequently one algorithm is page with smallest count that was probably just brought in and has to be used. So thank you, and